Everybody, it's me, Maris, and it's my second time. Actually, I am like in a makeshift studio. Well, it's my art studio, my creative studio, and I usually don't do readings in here. I usually don't do readings at home. I always do them over at my other studio. And with the snowy weather, I'm like here in the house. So here, let's smudge this area because I haven't smudged in here. I've been painting all day. I'm like, oh goodness. Okay, and then well, let's see. I baked brownies. You know, those kind of brownies. I baked brownies. I made gummy bears. I painted a lot. Katoxi made some more of these skulls. You'll see one of the finished products in just a second. I got it sitting over here. And then he went and cast some more of those cow skull things. They're really cool. He's going to do one Native American style. He's the Native American artist. I'm just the wife, right? But I have the Sacred Shaman deck with me today, or not the Sacred Shaman, Oracle of the Shaman. It's an interesting deck. Okay, here goes one. It's a very interesting deck. Sometime, I was going to say, it's very, very soft in nature, or should I say more quiet in nature, but it can come across with some pretty stern and strict, stern messages. So it's kind of what, for some reason I brought these home a couple of weeks ago, and they've just kind of sat on this shelf thing, and I walked by and noticed that the cards were on the floor. So I figured, well, somebody wants me to pay attention to them. So that's why I brought them out for this evening. I hope everybody's doing okay. I can't see any comments for some reason. It must be the way, it must be the way that I have it set up. So I probably forgot to hit the right button. Waiting to see if we get, okay, we actually got a couple of more cards. And that one. Let's see. Okay. Alright, we got several cards. Whew, wants to keep us busy tonight. Do you have something to drink? Do you have a snack? Something like that? Because there's several cards to look at. Oh. Hey, there you go. Hi, Tiffany. How are you? Okay, thank you for letting me know that my comment thing was working. Sometimes I don't have it on. Alright, so let's take a look, because, hey Gabby, how are you? Let's take a look and see what's in the cards, right, for the week. Whew. Alright, so first things first, let's take a look at the very, very first card that we're looking at, and that's the, what's coming in Sunday night to Monday morning, and we're looking at Stand Still. And what is Stand Still? I don't want you to think of Stand Down, because it's not Stand Down, but it's Stand Still. When you were a kid, did you ever play freeze tag? And so that when you were running, and you weren't it, but you were running, and the person who was it would tag you, and you had to freeze in whichever way you were when they tagged you. And that's what this card is. You've just been tagged to freeze. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, freeze. Stop. Don't move forward. That's what this beginning energy is talking about. Okay, so we're looking at the Stand Still. Looks like my sage is still burning. I guess the room needs it, right? Stand still. So we're looking at playing that game of just being stand still, freeze, stop. Do not move forward. Okay. Now, this is interesting because I usually look, when I have a whole bunch of cards, I usually look at this card as your, or our, or the, what's the obstacle or what's the challenge? Okay, and what we're looking at here is we have the Audibus here, right? And what is the Audibus? He's a snake, and that snake is eating itself. And it's talking about it being in the word of completion. But if you look at the actual vibration, it's really referring to an end of a cycle. And you're probably going, what are you talking about? No, this is saying that there is some situations that are going to come to an abrupt stop, and will not have that momentum to move forward. That things just come to a freeze frame stop, and that person's not going to get out of that freeze frame. They're going to stay exactly in that place. They're not going to be able to, per se, work through that, but it's like it's a done deal. If that makes any sense. Let me put it in this form. Some things are made and some things are broken. Okay? And this card is talking about the determination of what gets made and what gets broken. And there's going to be some things that get broken and they'll never get fixed again. It's those ties are ended, that bondage is let loose, that connection is dissolved, and it's not going to come back. I know that sometimes, like, we'll be in a relationship, and I'm not always talking about romantic relationships. It can also mean business relationships. It can mean friendships. It can mean connections, networking, anything along that lines, is that things that have been skating on thin ice will finally break through. And when it's done, it's done. There's no rehashing it, no going back to it. That's what this card is talking about, is that some of those choices that we haven't been wanting to make, well, universe is going to make it for you and kind of break that tie. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. All right. So, what's our help? If completion or the end of a cycle has been our obstacle, I'm over here going, we at least want to have it in the other way, where it's upside, like this, where it's saying, can I have a witness? No, it's not. It's saying, again, sometimes we are totally on our own. Sometimes we're totally on our own. And it's like, yes, your guardian angels are there with you and around you and beside you. However, you may not always notice that or feel that, and you're still, and you'll feel very isolated and kind of left out. And isolated and left out. Know that you're not alone, and that is the big help that's through there. The issue in it is that you have to ask for that help. So if you're trying to move in a particular direction, you can't do that on your own. You're really going to have to be dependent on other people or a key person helping you get in. And I'm like literally seeing it as in opening that door for you. You can knock, but it's like nobody can hear you on the other side. You literally have to be at the perfect place and perfect time, and be kind of like sending that message out there in order for that to happen. There's not anything per se that's standing there waiting for you to be there. Sounds kind of harsh in a way, but it really isn't harsh. Now, I like this card in many ways, and because it's, you look at it, if it was like this, many paths, that's kind of like going to Golden Corral and having to decide, and you're told you can only eat three things from Golden Corral, and that's it. And you walk in and you see probably 75 things out on the hot table, and you really can't make a decision of which one of those things you're going to eat. Well, actually, which three you're going to eat, because that's all you're going to get. You're only going to get three choices on that. And so you're really kind of overwhelmed. Well, when we see this mini paths card and it's kind of upside down, what we're really looking at in this is that your focus is going to be very, very narrowed down to a couple of things. That's a good thing, because then you're not so overwhelmed with trying to juggle 20 things with two hands. Makes life a lot easier sometimes when universe comes through and makes those choices for us. Sometimes, we don't exactly take care of our own energy or our own vibe, and we kind of abuse ourselves in many ways. And so when we start looking at it in this form, it's like we'll be the first ones to go, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. And then you just realize that you agreed to 20 things that you probably have no clue, no idea, hi Lola, that you would even want to do. And so it's like, oh no, that's Lucy. I thought that was Lola. Hey Lucy, how are you? And when you look at this, and it's kind of like everything gets narrowed down, it's like you get to choose three things to eat, and guess what? There's three things on the bar, yay! I don't have a lot to think about or choose or worry about. It's kind of like wearing a uniform. You know what you're going to wear, right? That's what this mini paths card is talking about. It's saying that universe has stepped up. Here we go. Hey, come on, turn over. The universe has stepped up to the plate and is making those choices for you. All right. Okay, so what are some of the things kind of playing into the energy this week? The hunter. All right. I'm going to put it out there like this. I wouldn't call ourselves to be prey, okay, as in Prey. An obstacle or something that's kind of coming through is that there'll be a lot of targeting of particular, and I don't want to say particular people, but there'll be a lot of focus, and I'm going to say it with, there's going to be a lot of animosity with this focus. A hunter, what does the hunter do? A hunter's desire is to capture its prey. Now, sometimes they're hunting for food, and sometimes they're hunting, to corral or bring in, close down something. So what we're looking at here this week is this really strong energy coming in, and its focus is to pretty much capture its prey. I didn't say kill it, I said capture it. And I just had this little thing that says, why does a caged bird sing? Okay, well, caged bird sings. Maya Angelou wrote a book about her life in there, and why a caged bird sings. And so it's very interesting when I hear that, because it can mean a whole lot of different things. Sometimes it's people spilling the beans. Sometimes it's speaking your own truth in order to experience liberty or freedom. Sometimes that caged bird sings to entertain. It's a lot of different energies through here. And so this hunter coming in, this energy coming in, that's going to be kind of focusing on particular groups of people, or particular belief systems in order to shut it down. Okay. Now, oh, good. All right. So, whew, good energy here. Okay. All right. So, what happens with this? Guess what? We can kick some butt. Okay. Chance always favors a prepared mind. And when you are a step ahead of your opponent, when you're a step ahead of your opponent, you can pretty much guess. I guess is the word. You can kind of guess, have a good guesstimate of what their next step is. Okay, the Luminous Warrior is talking about you're going to shine through this. You've got your battle armor on. You're prepared in your mind. You've got your strategy. You've already planned out steps A, B, C, D, E, and F. And they're still back there at B, or maybe even still back there at A. So regardless of this hunter and that energy, the one that's coming in to kind of shut you down, and knock out your beliefs or whatever through there, you can't. I was like, I got MC Hammer, I can't touch this. Okay, so you're covered. You don't have to worry about other people's issues or other people's attack, because you yourself are covered with some really good high vibe energy. You're luminous. That means you're light filled. You're light filled, and then you're overflowing with that light. And looking at that warrior aspect, that warrior kind of supersedes that vibration of the hunter. A warrior knows when to fight and when to have peace, where the hunter is only looking on that negative vibration. And, a hunter, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy hunting, okay, as in, if we want to go and get a deer, I enjoy the whole aspect of it, because it's not just about going out and hunting a deer, it's about being self-sufficient and learning how to live off of the land. But when you hunt with a negative intention, it's a totally different aspect. And that's what we're looking at here. And it's like, regardless of the hunt, you're a luminous warrior and you will supersede that negative vibration. So that's why I said that's a good card. Okay. And so where do we end up? Not quite there yet. Ooh, I love this. The Beloved. Okay, so regardless of all of the negative vibration that's coming through. Okay, I've got like my cat's in here. The cat's in here now. She's like playing around with something. Actually, this is the cat's room. I have to admit, it's my cat's room. And she's graciously allowing me to use it as a studio. So I guess in essence, I am her beloved and she is my beloved. But it's that beloved. Remember a couple of cards ago where it had the Witness and it was upside down, and I said, you're not alone. It just feels like it. You're very loved. We're very loved. We're very well nurtured. We're very well cared for. We don't always, come over here, we don't always recognize it. We don't always understand it. But that's the vibration through there, is that we are luminous because we are loved. We are strong because we are loved. We are that beloved. And then we can actually share that belovedness and increase that vibration globally if we choose to start giving and letting that overflow of that beloved energy go through. It's really kind of cool when you cut biases out and let them go to the side and just let it flow. All right, the Sweat Lodge. And so as the week progresses on and we become, victorious and we're overcoming obstacles. In fact, we're not allowing obstacles to throw wrenches in the day or be nails in our coffin or whatever. If we don't allow the negative vibration to control over us, what happens? Good things happen to us. That sweat lodge is a very, very sacred and spiritual place, regardless of the culture. Okay, it was like, sweat lodges, we have the different temples that different cultures that have used, the Aztec, the Maya, I keep getting like, the Han dynasty. Was there a Han dynasty? But even in the Asian cultures and the Middle Eastern cultures, they have different kinds of temples, and those temples are like a sweat lodge. The Native Americans, that we normally associate sweat lodges with, we think about that, and it was like that's their sacred space, that's their temple, that's their church, that's where that's their synagogue, that's their mosque. That's where they go in for their spiritual cleansing. And it's not about religion. I know people like to try to throw religion into stuff. Okay, religion is just the rules of engagement. That's all it is. You look at the Bible, you look at the Quran, you look at the Torah, you look at the different books of the different cultures that are across the universe, right across the universe, but across the world. And everybody has rules of engagement. Even back, you think about in the Babylonian times and the Mesopotamian times, we had the Code of Hammurabi, and that was your code of living. And that's what, we confuse religion with spirituality. And spirituality is your connection, your personal, intimate connection with self, higher self, universe, some omnipotent whatever that's above you. And I don't care what you want to call it, but that's what spirituality is. Religion is nothing but the rules of engagement based on a particular culture, idea, philosophy, whatever. That's all it is. It's just rules of engagement. And they say to be a part of this particular group, this is what you're going to follow. All right, so let's take religion out of it and let's look at just the spiritual aspect of self, higher self, subconscious self, universe, omnipotent creator, image, whatever you want to call that. And so that's what Sweat Lodge is saying. So for those that practice Christianity, it's a come to Jesus time. For those that are Buddhist, it's a sit down and meditate in Siddhartha time. It's connecting with Ganesh. Whatever rules of engagement you choose, that's what this is leading up to. Is that this week, as we go through our strifes and our struggles, and we actually are victorious and have a lot of power, and empower. Let's talk about empowerment, not power as in a negative, but self-empowerment, that we actually experience the spiritual catharsis with it, and we have that moment of spiritual connection where, it's kind of like, this is what life is all about. So really, 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 really strong energy with that when you look at all of the things that are going on and that they personally come to a head this weekend. And kind of... And chance favors that prepared mind, because you've already been preparing for this. We've been building up to this over the last several weeks, and then we start looking at it and we're like, this is the weekend, and this is the week that and this is the week that I gain who I am in this world, and I finally have direction and purpose. That's what this is about. And this last card is telling the story. It's the drum. And what does the drum do? It tells a story. It communicates. It keeps the beat. It keeps the rhythm. It keeps the life going. And so this energy that's coming in is going to be really rough and really hardcore. But my goodness, you are so prepared for this. You've been working really hard. If you've been following my readings, we've been working really hard over the last several weeks, getting ourselves into alignment so that as this energy cultivates and accumulates, that we're going to be totally prepared for whatever comes through, and we're actually going to be, hey Lola, going to be reaping a most beautiful, beautiful bounty and harvest from it, because chance favors that prepared mind. We've been paying attention to those signs. We've been listening. We've been patient. We've been diligent. And most importantly, that we're actually very, very focused on who we are and where we want to go and where we want to be. And it's time for our story to come to the forefront. And that's what that drum, that ending part of this reading, that ending part of the energy. What's that end result? Your story. Beautiful, groovy things coming up, but we have to go through a little bit of that muckaluck to get there. So don't forget to put your thigh-high boots on so you can wallow through some of this shit. Oh, did I just say that? And that way, but you know what? We're victorious in this. They cannot hold good people down. And when you're full of love and light and you're working in that direction, you know what? No matter what they throw at you, you will still come out on top. So thank you, Susan, for that. Long time no see. I'm glad I was able to catch up with you. I'm going to start doing more readings from the house in the evening and etc. so that I can be able to connect with all of my folks all over the world. So peace, love, and harmony. Finally got my groove on. It was a little rough at the beginning trying to get my energy going on, but now it's flowing. I have a secret. I will probably be back later this evening and we're just going to say some grown-up talk. Something that I probably, it's like what you can do when you put your kids to bed and you can kick back and, have your favorite beverage or your favorite snacky wacky, and then hang out. So, hey, Ladina, how are you? So, Gabby, if you're awake later on, which I think you probably will be, we need to yak it tonight. Hey, Amber, I'm offering the Tuesday virtual. They're on Google Meet, and it's like $25 for like a 30-minute reading or 30-minute session. And I live on Latina time, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, shit. I never keep track of that, really. So if you want to do that, you can purchase that there's the link is on the page 1,000 times. And then tell me what time you want to get together on Tuesday, because I do that on Tuesdays. It's $25, Tuesday virtual reading, Google Meet. We giggle, we do a reading, we do a little Reiki, whatever you want to do. If you need some coaching just to keep your shiz together, hey, I'm there for you. We can tap. Yeah, I tap. I used to do this when I would go gambling. Like, what the hell are you doing? So anyway, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty, and so I'm going to take a break. But you know what? Knowing me, I will be back later on this evening. So, peace, and I hope you all like my new cool little light. It's from Matthew. Matthew gave it to me for Christmas. He's so groovy. He was like, I guess I was saying something about, I need something, and boom, there he was. Love my little brother Matthew. He's so cool. He's my spiritual brother. He's my spiritual friend. I'm not of that same family, but, shit. If I love you, you're my sister or my brother. Who cares? Right? Peace.